Relationship Thursday on JF. Add more flavor.
I didn't know what it meant to be alone. I didn't know till the day you were gone that I could ever feel this miserable without you here with me. But now I'm standing looking in the mirror, wondering whatever happened to our love. Deep down I thought that there would always be an us. Since you disappeared, I know the time don't wait for no one. You gotta say what you want. If you were here with me now, I'd tell you you're the one. 'Cause you're the closest thing to an angel that I ever met. So don't you worry, I'll never forget you. Know that you can't be here by my side.
Welcome, listeners. It's a Thursday, Relationship Thursday on JF. I hope everyone is well and happy wherever we are. We are so honored today to have Pastor Clement Dlamini from Let's Go to Glory Worship Center. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for welcoming me to the show. It's good to be here.
Lovely. Well, listeners, today it is Relationship Thursday. Pastor Clement will be talking about relationships. And the good thing is, last week Friday, he was actually celebrating 16 years of marriage. 16. Wow. Congratulations on that, Dlamini.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's been an interesting journey.
Very interesting, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But we thank God that you are still at it and you are still continuing.
Yes, sir. I'm still pushing.
Yes, pushing is the right word.
Yes,
I like
sir.
that. Well, listeners, we have him today. I'll just hand over to him and he'll just take over and we see where we go from here. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Very interesting. I'm actually excited to be part of the show and part of the discussion. I've been listening to, having fun and listening to the episodes that have been done before. And today I just want to encourage myself also and encourage you on the issue of love. It's a relationship Thursday.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk. I have lots of things to say, but I'm going to talk about a couple of issues that have sustained and that continue to sustain me and my spouse, my wife,
Yes.
in this marriage journey. All right. The first thing that I excites me is the issue of the discipline of unconditional love and compassion, which is one of the major ingredients in relationships. Over the 16 years, those who will know the psychology of relationships, you find that you always believe that you will know this person when you get married. It's all going to be lovey-dovey. And then you realize that you are actually meeting someone coming in from a different background, and you are coming from a different background. And then you have to be coming into this relationship and you have to offer what we call unconditional love and also compassion, which is something they never teach us. We just know the only person that will give you unconditional love is God. Then we get into relationships, we realize that actually you need to love this particular person without any conditions.
Yeah.
And people say, but how can you love someone without a condition? How can you not put conditions? But it's important that we always put your lover first. And and you need to understand it's not about you. When you fully develop the skill of heartfelt understanding, you become conscious of your partner's inner life. And that's very important because people will be asking, what is inner life? You need to check yourself. Rather being an observer and rather than being an observer and a critic, you feel what they feel and you will discover the deepest pleasure in your relationship. And also what becomes fascinating is that as you continue to give and to love in your relationship and deepest pleasure issues, you also need to consider the element of the discipline of absolute courage and vulnerability. Most people don't want to be vulnerable to their people. We always act strong, and tough. Whereas in relationships, for you to sustain 16 years, there are times when you become weak, when you become vulnerable to your person. So love, you need to love no matter what and commit to absolute truth. Be truthful to yourself. Be present for your love, even during the most painful of situations.
Yeah.
We struggle with that quite a bit, especially us gentlemen. The issue of being there in painful situations. And don't just be physically present, but be fully present.
Yeah. Yeah.
We become absent-minded, but we need to also ask yourself, give your lover undivided attention and focus. It's very important. And anytime you lose trust and interest or commitment in your relationship, then there comes criticism and rejection. You start being critical, and then you get rejected, and that causes a lot of problems in your relationship. So it's important for us to stay connected, cultivate our commitment the way you would actually a plant that you plant in the garden. Women love flowers, the way you would nurture your flower.
Yes.
You make sure it gets the sun, it gets water, it gets nutrients. That's basically what you do. It's a difficult thing, especially if you have a different commitment. You are working and you are all tired and you are committed to other things, but we need to discipline ourselves and bring in courage and absolute and being vulnerable to each other. You know, there are times when you need to cry about something, and as men we are always apprehensive and like I can't cry in front of her, but she needs to see you when you are weak also. Don't act strong, because the challenge with being strong all the time is that when you get to breaking point, you break. And when you break, something will break. So it's important for us to get to that point where we become vulnerable. And also the other one that is critical is the discipline of knowing the truth. We need to know the truth. Here's the truth. When we are in relationships, unfortunately, it's easy for us to start blaming one another. This is happening because you didn't, or this is happening because you should have. So we need to understand that there is an art to expressing upset in relationships. And I always say to myself, I'm very, people know me as very loud and opinionated, but I call it a coil. Sometimes I coil into my hole, and I am quiet with my thoughts. So sometimes the wife will not know whether I'm happy, unhappy, angry. And then because we are Christians, we then hide behind, I'm just meditating and praying when you are upset about other things. So it's important for us to then allow ourselves to discipline ourselves according to truth. And what is truth? Truth is not fact. Facts are facts, but truth is established. It doesn't change. So most of the time when we become factual, the fact of the matter is. But what sustains relationships is the truth of knowing that God has given me this woman, and I have to be available for support, for protection, for guidance, and for leadership. So she relies on me for leadership, and at certain times I also rely on her to take a lead. So it's important for us to then, the truth helps. I think in a relationship we become too pretentious and borrow too much from the ways of the world to the extent that we lose the truth of God in relationships. It's very important for us to understand that God has given us each other, and we need to establish truth for the relationship based on the truth of God. It's very important for us to understand that. And also what becomes critical is the discipline of telling yourself the truth in a relation. Tell yourself the truth. We hide. It's easy for us to hide, and pretend. So it's important for you to commit to the moment, from a moment to moment, awareness of the impact of your state. Your state in a relationship has an impact on your person. I want to call him your person. It has an impact. It has an impact on how they also view you. So if the base of trust is confidence in your partner, then you must begin with confidence in yourself. No one really loves someone who has no confidence. So confidence is important. Sometimes we have confidence by faith. We have confidence by faith. Sometimes we fake it until it happens.
It happens,
But really, it is the belief system that we have. So tell yourself the truth, and without it, you cannot induce lasting trust in others. If you do not have confidence in yourself. So we bring it in and we play with it and we enjoy it and we become honest to each other until it works. And unfortunately, we are living in a world that's devoid of truth now as Christians. We rely too much on magazines and other sources of information, and we shy away from the discipline of what God has told us relationships are. So it's important. 16 years is no child's play.
Yeah, hey?
Meeting a woman and getting married and spending life and having children.
Yeah.
It takes a lot from the woman, takes a lot from the man. But we need to discipline ourselves to the truth. And what also becomes important is the fact that the Bible speaks about he whom the Son sets free is free indeed. And in the relationships, unfortunately, we make relationships to be a crawl that staples on people and doesn't allow them the freedom to become themselves. So the other part that is important is the discipline of giving freedom. You need to give your lover, your person, your wife, you need to give them the freedom. But in the freedom, there must be discipline. Because freedom also allows me to make mistakes and allows me to recognize the mistakes. And then that ushers in the element of the power of forgiving. We need to forgive each other and forget. And also,
forgetting
is very important. So why drag along the baggage of past mistakes? But the reason why we drag them along is because we leave them unresolved. We leave them to chance. And if they are not tied together and dealt with, they become a baggage. And suddenly you start to say, you remember in 2014, you did this to me because it was left unresolved. So there must be this liberty to engage on issues and discuss them and really seriously move over to issues. Don't leave them to chance. The freedom is important. And also whenever we have painful experiences, we can learn from them, the past, and use them to punish ourselves also. And to punish ourselves and to create a discipline. So people often blame their partners for past misdeeds. If you want passion, set your partner free. It's difficult, I know. It's difficult to let someone go free, to enjoy the liberty to be themselves, to go to work and come back at night. As long as they told you that they are working, if they have freedom, you don't sit at home. You're okay. You don't sit at home complaining about where they might be, what they could be doing, because you understand who they are. See their mistakes from their perspectives, consciously harness the good in life to bring greater pleasure and intimacy. It's a very difficult one. We struggle with it quite a bit because now we are professionals, we work, we are all educated. There's no stay-home mom, there's no stay-home dad. We've got business, we've got ministry. So if there's no freedom, if I'm preaching somewhere and she's not there, she should probably spend the whole night thinking, what is he doing now? So the freedom allows you are disciplined, and you allow your spouse to be free. You sleep like a baby. It's important. That is important. Otherwise, short.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Dlamini.
That's me in a nutshell, and relationships.
Wow. That is really, really, really amazing. I like the part that says having confidence in yourself allows the next person to love you more. Listeners, I hope you got something from this session. We will have Mrs. Dlamini again very, very soon. For today, that's where we'll end. Thank you so much, Mrs. Dlamini.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Lovely. Listeners, thank you for tuning in. This is JF. Have a lovely weekend. Keep safe and be happy. Goodbye.
JF, add more flavor.